Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it, was a statement from Tilak at Bombay State Political Conference in Belgaum, Maharashtra in 1916. The voice which echoed in the entire country. Keshav Gangadhar Tilak was born on 23rd July 1856 at Ratnagiri in the erstwhile Bombay Presidency on the west coast of India. Tilak's mother raised him with all her love and care. He was lovingly called as Bal by his mother. Tilak decided to continue with this name throughout his life to perpetuate his mother's memory, and hence he is also known as Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Fierceness and independence, the traits that dictated Tilak's political activities, saw their genesis during his childhood. This is also exemplified through one such occasion where he was wrongly accused by his teacher of eating groundnuts in the class and he refusing to accept any punishment. Tilak walked away from the class with his slate and books in defiance of the teacher. Tilak entered Deccan College at Pune in 1873 and became a resident student at the beginning of the second term. At Deccan College, he studied English, Sanskrit, and statistics and graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Pune and applied mathematics in 1876. He was also an alumnus of the Government Law College in Mumbai, from where he graduated with a LLB degree in 1879. Whilst in Deccan College, Tilak met Gopal Ganesh Agarkar, with whom he embarked on his social and political endeavors. He was inspired by the ideas of Dadabhai Nauroji and Mahadev Govind Ranade on the economic drain of India's wealth, and also by the radical writings of Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar in the Nibandhamala. To uphold the torch of knowledge in a society where darkness of deprivation prevailed, he was instrumental in establishing the new English school on 1st January 1880. The founding of the school was looked as the beginning of an effort to reawaken the conscience and arouse the intellect of the people of Maharashtra. The Indian National Congress was founded in 1885. Lokmanya Tilak joined the Congress in 1890. At the time, the activities of the Congress were initiated under the leadership of the moderate leaders who used the medium of petitions, persuasion, and pamphlets to voice their opinions to the British government. Tilak, in order to enable the common man to participate in the struggle, gave the nation his famous 4-point program, SWARAJ. It was to further the cause of self-rule, that is, ruling of the country by its own people. Swadeshi, that is, to encourage the growth of indigenous industry, agriculture, and commerce, by which the money generated in the country would remain in the country and would be utilized for our own country. Boycott, that is, boycott the purchase of imported goods. And finally, national education, that was to impart education that would arouse patriotism among students and provide them training in business, commerce, and research that would lead to the progress of the country. However, by the end of the 19th century, the failure of the moderate politics became quite apparent, and it led to a new trend in the Congress circles, which came to be referred as the extremist phase. We also witnessed the partition of Bengal in 1905 by Lord Curzon, which led to the nationwide agitation and struggle. This phase of political activities took shape under the leadership of Lal Bal Pal, known as Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Bipin Chandra Pal. They finally led the entire movement to the scale of voicing the people's grievances in a more vociferous manner. It eventually led to the famous split in the Congress called as the SWARAJ split on 20th December 1907. Tilak faced the trials for sedition. Throughout his life, Lokmanya Tilak was tried thrice for sedition in the Bombay High Court. In 1897, the killing of W.C. Rand by the Safikar brothers after his measures in Pune due to the plague. It caused intense indignation amongst the Europeans and the British government. This started a series of trials against the leaders, including Lokmanya Tilak, as it was realized that the killing was a direct result of the incitement caused by Tilak's speeches and articles published in the Kesari and Maratha, and especially Tilak's editorial where he wrote, "British Sarkar che doke, ठिकाने वर आहे का?" Tilak was prosecuted under section 124A of the Indian Penal Code and was sentenced to 18 months of imprisonment. Tilak was tried for the second time in 1908 for sedition against the British government as he defended the revolutionaries like Prafulla Chaki and Khudiram Bose. Tilak immediately called for SWARAJ through his articles published in the Kesari in 1908. He was pronounced guilty and was sentenced to 6 years of imprisonment, most of which he spent at Mandalay in Burma. In 1916, Tilak was tried for the third time for sedition on the account of the lectures he gave from a public platform on obtaining Swaraj through constitutional means. Interestingly, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was an upcoming lawyer at the time, defended Tilak in the trials of 1908 and 1916. While Jinnah was unsuccessful in defending Tilak during the trial of 1908, he won Tilak the case against the British government in 1916. Lokmanya Tilak had realized the power of the press to mold public opinion, and thus the idea of launching 2 newspapers was born. Launched in 1881, the weekly newspaper Kesari, edited in Marathi, and Maratha, edited in English, gave information on the condition of people, political happenings in India and England, and also voiced the aspirations of the enlightened section of the society to the British government, to the English public, and the existing intelligentsia. The newspapers were a phenomenal success as they gained popularity amongst the people and became the most circulated newspapers of the time. In 1894, Lokmanya Tilak revived and brought the festivals of Ganesh Chaturthi and Shivaji Jayanti into the public domain, as he believed that the feeling of oneness and pride towards the country's heritage were vital forces of nationalism in the country. The festivals became a medium for people to gather on a common ground, irrespective of their social criteria. Tilak had also proposed to start Akbar Utsav, but before that he was imprisoned and sent to Mandale. On 16th June 1914, Lokmanya Tilak was released after serving 6 years of imprisonment at Mandale, Burma. The India to which he returned was a very different one. Therefore, to revive the political activity in India, Tilak and Annie Besant decided to start the Home Rule League on the lines of the Irish Home Rule League in 1916. While Annie Besant's league operated in the rest of the country, Tilak's league operated in the area of the Bombay Presidency. Through his Home Rule League, Lokmanya Tilak proposed for the call of Swaraj or self-rule, national education, and social and political reforms. Tilak also tried to revolutionize the state of affairs through education. Though the New English School had catapulted to fame, Tilak wanted to take his intellectual capabilities a notch higher and beyond the four walls of the school. For this purpose, he, along with a few supporters, launched the Deccan Education Society to promote the cause of private education in 1884. A year later, in 1885, the society founded the Fergusson College in Pune. Tilak was the foremost leader in Bombay Presidency, along with other leaders, to raise also the issue of the mill workers in Bombay. The issue of mill workers were always neglected. They never had a proper political platform where they could place their arguments and raise their grievances. As far as 1908 Tilak's trial is concerned, we also witness a complete shutdown of the mills in Bombay in support of Lokmanya Tilak. Inscribed on a marble plaque outside courtroom number 46 of the Bombay High Court, Lokmanya Tilak, during the trial of 1909, stated, "All that I wish to say is that, in spite of the verdict of the jury, I still remain innocent. There are higher powers that rule the destinies of men and nations, and I think that it may be the will of Providence that the cause I represent may be benefited more by my suffering than by my remaining free." Lokmanya Tilak, at a conference for removal of untouchability, where he vehemently opposed untouchability, and he said, "If God were to tolerate untouchability, I would not recognize him as God." Lokmanya Tilak, on the first anniversary of the Home Rule League in Nasik in 1917 stated, "Freedom is my birthright. I will not be old as long as it is alive within me." This feeling of freedom, no weapon can cut this, no fire can burn it, no water can drown it, and no wind can blow it. We are asking for home rule, and we will get it. As we celebrate his 100th death anniversary, his glory and legacy continues. We pay tribute to the father of the Indian unrest. As Mahatma Gandhi had stated, he was the maker of modern India. Lokmanya, in true sense, for the people of India who lived and sacrificed his life. A salute from all of us to this great man, thinker, and journalist of his time. Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak is timeless.